for. But sellers aren't always experts. I've encountered
sellers. I don't know what to play in the background to any of this stuff. I'm not going to federal prison if I click 18 and up on a box. This is meant for adults when you go forth and play an M-rated mature video game. That you have to be, I think, 17 or 18 to play, I think, Resident Evil or any of that stuff, rated mature games. I had all that originally on that profile that I had, and I played a little bit of it off and on until I got bored of it. And I just beat the core and similar to Resident Evil with pre-rendered backgrounds, and you'd go forth from just take it in one setting with the
not $100 on 200. Right. So
with the information that I had, it isn't somebody else's. And I'm forth and act weird with you, but it says my last name Ortega. All my shit has Ortega on it. Even my parents had got married legally. My mom's name's Ortega, so if I had thought about it, we could have moved someplace else when we were at the apartment. We could have went someplace else for the money that we had at the home insurance. They put a roof on. We could have easily probably could have had like 20,000, but we gave it to the roofer and we weren't going to fuck around with that shit. And going forth and playing the video game at the apartment building, I had got a PC for the check that they had those stimulus checks, and since
finding lots,
I had put my name down on a certificate saying that I could receive one because everybody got a stimulus check, so I had it written in me. I still think I still have the paperwork, and that was like $1,500, and I spent $800 on a computer and gave the rest to my parents, so they can't go forth and act like I didn't spend it on something reasonable. That it wasn't drugs, it wasn't alcohol, it wasn't weed, it wasn't anything like that. It was spent on a computer.
And if you're buying to collect,
the roof had got replaced.
Buying lots is the easiest way to check off like 200 items in your list if you want.
Not going away. They ain't going to jail me up, and they won't forth and tell you that I didn't break the law. They're the one breaking the law, making fun of me, telling me shit. They ain't going to break in the house either. Still anything fucking psycho. It says Ortega.
Yeah, and I don't know how much the bots from the big like Lukey games.
I had this bed since the beginning of time. Like I know it made it seem like this bed was new, but it was from like way back in 2011. I think the bed that I had, as you said.
Oh yeah,
I don't really.
They were calculating and buying of watts.
I don't go to sleep that often. Like I'm not asleep all day and night, so the bed looks kind of new. It was dressers from like 2007 or 8. I had a dresser. I had a dresser in the background back then in photographs and shit. And going forth in the entertainment centers from way back in high school years that I kept it because it has the shelves to that. Going forth and having something with shelves. There's not that much shit that has shelves nowadays. It's like a flat entertainment center without shelves nowadays. They don't sell the stuff like they did back then in the day.
Making friends. What? The number, you said 6. 6, 6. The number of the beast. Making friends in the retro gaming hobby is key. It's key to life, Ian. It's key to the success as well. You get leads. When you talk to the collectors, what is the first thing comes up? You have this. Have you heard of this? Hey, I'm looking for this.
And then drop out there and fucking.
They can lead you to a deal, or at least making friends, handshakes. That's how I got my M82 demo. I knew someone.
The grant writing shit is because you fucking have a job. That's in 3 years. You're required to have a job within the time to be able to do that is because I did that in middle school, went to high school, and they allowed me to write grants for the American Royals. But I didn't know it was that bad to have somebody make fun of somebody that worked for a high school job. I didn't work outside of the time after those 3 years were up. I had the requirements to be able to get a certificate. So people that have the certificates can go have a job and get like $100,000 or whatever the fuck a year. If they have grants like that, you can have a certificate of doing something like that. They can get a job doing that or have resources to do that. I still be able to do that. Have a certificate of something I actually did that within years, and having the start period and the end time, and then having the other stuff in writing. That's why I don't get why the fuck I got made fun of by people saying it was fraud when it wasn't fraud. If you're half blind doing that shit, and I was blind during that time. There's photographs of me glasses, with green polos, and handed me the diploma there at the Kaufman Foundation. There's photos of that, and back then it was all on film. Like they said, I was half blind back then.
And obviously, we want to make money
I
out
don't
of it.
fucking make fun of somebody just because of the way they look and make fun of them over and over again until they fucking think you don't exist. And there's places where you do go, where you did exist at, where you had the stuff, information is all on a computer terminal. That guy doesn't get that. They want fucking far away and they fucking tell you a bunch of creepy shit and act like a moron.
I literally just sent you a picture of the switches. And I was looking at it, I couldn't tell what it was.
I don't know why the fuck I get punched by. I don't know anybody else that goes fucking punks me, go punks everybody. These people that actually had other jobs that he punked and kept having to remodel the house until they ran out of money or until they got old and didn't have the ability to fix it up themselves, and he kept on bugging them. He would keep bugging them and shit. That David and Tina would keep bugging them and shit. Be a coach and shit. They would bug people. They would keep bugging. They would harass. You can get them on harassment and bullying. They did the same creepy shit to some people too.
I was gonna add a little sub note that I totally forgot about. So those are our six things you should know before your games. Budget correctly. Patience. You can emulate before you buy or consider imports. Sellers are not always experts. Buy in lots and make some friends. We're all here to have fun. Share an insane hobby with each other.
I could be naked on this shit. They still won't be able to do anything about it because it's fucking. I'm not full on naked on this shit. I'd be different if I didn't have pants on. There's people that drum and shit without their top on, and kids still watch it and they go forth and think that it's fine, and forth and say it, and say he's a predator or something like that, going forth and being creepy with you. Then go forth and think that whatever the fuck you do in the background or in the whatever the fucking type of shit you're doing with your fucking time. I was just playing video games. They go look at the YouTube channel. They can see that I was playing a video game from start to finish, and that takes time to do that. But no stoppings in between, and I just stopped playing it because I didn't want to have them buy another console once they discontinue it or go on for the one thing to another and then get a console and they do list all your shit. Like if you bought a bunch of games on there, if you get a PS5, there's a chance that they could list all your games that you bought and installed. So if you installed something that's on a list of things that you bought, there's a chance if you buy a PS5, it'll delist all those. Not a crazy person. They ain't gonna take it off like what fucking wiped that damn fucking. They can't go forth and do that shit. They ain't gonna forth and tell you some creepy shit. You're more a crazy person than me, leaning down with his fat gut. Guy leaned down with his fat gut is me. I'm not no fucking David or whatever the fuck. He has a window in the back of his house and you can see his ass hanging out. Probably flashes his ass, fucking dancing and shit. Presses some old bitch's ass against the glass and fucks her. That shit's creepy. I know that shit isn't what the fuck they had in for being creepy with you. You're fucking psycho. You have to watch your bedding sometimes. So this is a day where I just watch my bedding because I had it on there for like the beginning of time since the 4 years. I had this at the apartment that I had the bedding in that. I had to put the bedding and then just kept the thing because it was still clean and going forth and then telling you. They're disgusting, and then that guy's disgusting himself because everybody eats birds and fucking livestock and shit. Everybody eats food, so everybody eventually will eat something bad. And going forward from Kansas, I had contaminated fucking meat, and before I logged off of Twitter on that one Twitter, they just said that they had a contamination of Kansas meat, and all that shit that people ate was bad. It tasted bad. And wasn't as good as what people thought, or they did something to it, or there was contaminated meat that they handled it wrong.
20 seconds or so in length. Anyway, let's begin. First up is The Addams Family on CD from ICOM Simulations. Here you play as Tully from the first movie, trying to get to the Addams Family vault while members of the said family mess with you. The control is decent, and naturally you shoot projectiles from your umbrella. Sadly, the stage design and gameplay balance is pretty heavy, and it's not tremendously fun. Aero Blasters. This Hue card is a pleasant and fun shooter. This one is also on the Genesis, where it's known as.
They ain't gonna do anything to me because I haven't done anything physically to anybody. It's because you're on this doesn't make you famous in terms of just being famous. Is not really that great anyway. We're fucking telling you.
Air Zonk. This is another horizontal shooter. This one has you playing.
On Meta, you can get money on Meta if you have 2,000 people, and it's more than 1,000 people on here. So I don't know how. It's only possible for someone to look you up and they add you on a friend's request. And once you add them, they'll say friendly things to you, but then they probably will laugh hysterically or tell you one thing or go forth or do another.
This is the first video.
I mean, I'm not on Messenger. I stopped messaging them because I didn't know who the fuck they were, and I was like, I'm gonna stop with the Messenger thing because I don't want like the Messenger thing to be
as well as 2 different music tracks.
To be up on something that go forth and not know who the fuck you're talking to and messaging you. They have everything on there that apparently they want to know where you're at, and going fucking it's not worth saying if it's on there already.
This one-on-one fighting game has a lot of options. It also has very fluid animation. Unfortunately, it controls like a very old computer game with lots of lag. In fact, it reminds me of Karateka.
It wasn't stolen if I can have receipts from on my dresser and underwear drawer, and I go forth out and dig in your underwear drawer for receipts and try to steal your shit if you go forth and has it in for registered originally under John Anthony tag on my email address. I registered all the computer, the Nintendo, and everything else back when I originally bought everything on an email attachment that wasn't theirs. And thank God they didn't make an email attachment for me because I don't want whatever the fuck they had animal porn on their shit at one point. That Mike Lopez and Guillermo and Evan all had animal fucking porn where some bongo was sucking off a donkey. And I went to Minnesota and they were talking about the animal porn. I don't have anything like that because I'm not enough sick. I ain't looking up some weird porn website on websites where they have a bongo sucking off a donkey and that shit going forth. And there's websites like that have email attachments, but I don't look at that. I'm not gonna spend like $50 a month to watch any of that shit because it's not worth watching. It's fucking sick. I don't know why the fuck they able to fucking. And Evan used to know that shit because he had his email attachment up and then go forth and all the email attachment. All I have is video game purchases and shit. Going forth and just bought a purchase of video game and then fucking health. And fucking health insurance and that shit on there. I ain't gonna fucking put anything to jeopardize whatever the fuck by shit they fucking ping your ass and go forth and they ain't do any of that shit like whatever the fuck type of stuff they're telling you one thing and doing another.
What the console can do is it's extremely sparse and the stages are overly long. It's still fun, but there's almost nothing to look at and not much happens. At least the music is really.
And it'd be too much longer. My parents will outlive you if you're fucking older than my parents. You fucking weirdo. They'll last longer than you if they're fucking the same age or 10 years older than. Or you're 10 years older than my parents, so you'll fucking die before my parents if they don't fucking do anything. Fucking psycho.
But it's a game you'll want to play over and over anyway. Be sure to check it out.